Good morning. I'm back in my normal woods today. When I say normal woods, if you don't know this channel, I grew up in these woods, not literally, well, I guess kind of literally. It's my favorite place on earth, these woods. They're probably not the best woods on the planet, but the best woods to me. I can always come here and regenerate and get something back. And as you can hear, it's 5:30 right now as I'm filming this, so the wildlife is just waking up. So it's very loud and it's very chaotic, but it's very soothing. And then in a couple of hours, the animals will quieten down a bit and they'll get into the day. They'll do the day's work. So this is another video about social media. I've made quite a few videos recently about social media. My last one, I think, a couple of ones before that. I think this will be the last time I talk about social media, just because I'm a little. I feel like I've said everything I want to say about it, but there's just a few little things I just want to cover. And the big thing I want to cover is, I sort of spoke about it in the last video, that social media is a game, and some people are very good at playing that game. Anybody who's successful on social media is because they've played the game well. And I don't want to discredit them because they've sort of like fake it to the make it thing. But I'll use Instagram as an example. So if anybody uses Instagram, the game is you like somebody else's work, you follow somebody else, and then they follow you back and they like you. And if they follow you and you don't follow them back, they'll disconnect from you. And then some people try and do it where you only follow them, you follow the people, but most people are playing a game on social media, especially Instagram. I mean, I don't want to discredit any photographers because I'm a huge admirer of photography. I think it's very important, A, for documentation, and B, because you get to see the style of how photography has improved over the years. But the thing what I will take away from it is everybody's got a camera now. Everybody has access to software that can edit photos. So it's almost there's nobody really taking natural photos anymore. So everything is filtered, everything is edited, everything is and they can still look really nice. I'm not taking away from the fact they look nice. Most of them do. But with Instagram being a image-based thing, it allows people to just create this image of themselves. They can just perfect the image. They can take a picture 1,000 times to get the image, and they can fit to the brand. Everybody's playing a game. Everybody's got their brand. My brand's this. Like these are my issues. These are my worries, and I'm giving them to the world. And I've always said the thing that can be pointed at me because I'm kind of doing exactly the same here. Let's not mistake this. I'm doing exactly the same. I'm branding myself in a certain way, which is, I'm out in the woods. I don't really have anything in my mind. I have a topic and I just talk about it and see where I go. And I film out here, I've said this before, because I think you get clarity of peace, and it's just a good place to talk. I find when you talk inside a building, you don't get the same nuances. I hope you like my hat today. I've gone for it. I got this hat in Paris when I was 21, which is 5 years ago now, and it's sort of like an investment. I wore it a bit. There's a few photos of me, I don't look too bad in it. I've just got sort of the right hair length for it right now. I was trying to find a cap, like a proper cap, but I couldn't find one. And I just fancy wearing a cap today. Like all I need now is like a cock shotgun, and I can walk around the woods like a farmer. But back on topic, it's very distracting just how you sort of realize that the human voice is quite boring compared to like the nature around you. So with social media, and I don't know if I've titled the video this, but this is what there's this thing called jealousy. Now I have actually felt jealousy before, and it's very rare for me because if I don't like what somebody's doing, right, I'll get annoyed about it, and I'll talk to my loved ones, I'll talk to people I don't like, and I'll maybe even talk to you guys. I'll maybe even make a video about it. There's somebody doing something I don't like. Like, I'm not a big fan of gurus who teach people how to get relationships and how to hook up with people and how to. I'm not really keen on that culture. I don't really like that culture. So, I'll make videos talking against it and calling it out. But at the end of the day, I don't really care. like, there's I believe in marketplaces, so there is a market for that, and it's thriving. I don't agree with the market, but it's a thriving market. But when I feel jealousy, it's because I've had a personal connection with that person. So I've never felt jealousy from somebody afar. It's always been somebody personal who's screwed me over, and I've felt hard done by, and then they've actually become successful. And of course, we all know that success through images on social media is not the truth. Like, behind closed doors, the happiest of people can be the saddest of people, because what we're showing on this frame is not real. So that's how I felt jealousy, and that's how I've had to combat that. I've had to speak to people about it. I've had to really work out why I feel these ways. And as I'm saying, it stems, the people I've been jealous of is because I've had a relationship with them, and the relationship hasn't worked out, and it didn't end mutually. It ended where I felt I got hard done by and screwed, and then they've gone off, and then they've done something off of what I've created, and then, so what I'm talking about now, I've had a few friends what have stolen clients from me, and which I'm not making this about me, because this is the world, this is people, isn't it? Like, people are people. But that's how I've always that's how I've harbored jealousy, because I can't. It's like, it's resentment. It's like I want that revenge movie. It's like I don't. This person doesn't deserve to succeed after they've stolen my clients, etc. And when I break that down, my jealousy is coming from my view of what I see them doing on social media. I can look at this another way as well. So the town I grew up in, that sounds like a cow. The town I grew up in, I don't know if this is similar to your upbringing. I don't know if this is similar to the people you knew, but the parents made their kids an extension of themselves, and they made their kids extremely popular. They wanted to make their kids extremely popular in the schooling system. So all the kids who were my age, who were from all the parents in the town, we were all competing. We didn't want to compete against each other. We probably wanted to be friends, but because the parents are pushing their kid to be the best, and their kid to, knock all the other kids out of the way, and give me. A lot of kids didn't have the emotional maturity, and they didn't have the balance, or didn't have the thing to, like, oh, I can make money, but I can also sit back and not be a douche about it. A lot of the kids just went, nothing against flash cars, but I'm talking about the way you drive a flash car, like, just binning it around corners. The only thing they can talk to you about is showing off how much money they've made. So I've always been from a culture of competition, so I've always felt like what I do is never enough, and even if I'm ahead of people what were previously ahead of me, I always feel like I've got to keep working to stay ahead. Now, on a fundamental level, I don't actually have that feeling. Like, it's not really there. It's only when I see these people. Like, if I go, I moved away from my town now. When I come back, like, to do videos like this, and I see old people, that competition comes back. It comes back into the back of my head. I have to remember that we were once competing. We weren't allies. And they do say that thing that you keep your enemies closest, because I had a lot of cases where a lot of my good friends turned out to be enemies, really, in the end. And that all comes out the town I was in. That's why my town can't. That's why me and my friends can't communicate properly now. Well, I guess I shouldn't use the word friends. The people I used to know. And this always the big social media circle, if you like. There's many ways we can enter the circle, and there's many different things happening on social media. But the main gravity of the situation is that we are not happy with anything. I mean, I could be, whoever's watching this, you might be happy. I really hope you are happy, because it is the it is what we're after. But even saying that, I don't even believe my own words, because I also have that instinct where it's like I've got to do something else. Like, is that just human nature that you have to wake up and you have to. I mean, all right. I know you can say there's. I don't necessarily believe in the whole. I use working class and middle class and high class. I use that as just a way to, sort of stereotype people. But if you really think about it, that doesn't really exist. And people will tell you that they're content in life, but are they really? Like, is it even possible to be content in life? Like, is it not just the definition of being a human that we're constantly searching through consciousness? Or are we not always just searching for something else? But where it becomes a problem for me, is when I'm doing my own thing. Like, I've been doing my own thing for about 4 years now in my life, maybe even longer. I've been wanting to do my own thing for my whole life, and I probably started doing it properly about 4 years ago. And I should be happy. I shouldn't be worried what other people are doing. But I am. It's like, I don't know if you've seen these videos. I used to work in fast food, and I used to be really fast at it. And I saw a guy on YouTube who recorded him in a fast food place, and he showed how fast he was. And these videos are really successful. They're really interesting videos because you get to see a look behind the scenes. And I could have done something like that. Like, why didn't I think of that? I could have done that. And obviously it's completely irrational, it's completely stupid, because I've chosen my own path, I've done my own thing. It could be down to, you could say in terms of views, that's been more successful than anything I've ever done. But then that's not what I picked to do. I never picked to do that. So it's very odd. It's like don't you ever find when you meet somebody now, you're always trying to explain why you have, we're all trying to justify why we haven't done the thing we said we were going to do. So it's like, or we've gone to university, right, and we just didn't, whatever course it just wasn't for us. We didn't want to become a vet, we didn't want to become a doctor, whatever. But we disguised everything. We go, oh, it was burnout, I burnt out. Or you'll say the course, nah, it just wasn't for me, I want to do something else. But what if usually you don't actually want to do something else, you just realise this isn't for you. But it's very hard and very embarrassing just to say. Or there's even a more nuanced way to look at this. Of, let's say you want to become a doctor or a vet, and life. I always think when you hit your 20, 23, 24, 25, life opens up to such an extent. There's no clear path anymore, and I think it's fun to explore many paths. So I know it's because, say, you're wasting education, you're throwing education away on a dime. And I do recommend to follow your education through to the end, even if you don't want to do it. If you really don't want to do it, then maybe you should quit if it's really causing you mental health, but it's really causing you problems, then quit. But if it is not too bad, and if you are going for something like a veterinary or a doctor, they're very, very useful things to have, because you can make a lot of money from that. You're guaranteed early retirement. You can probably own a house a lot faster than most people, and you'll have a lot more resources. Which is good as well, because everything has gone up. I know that's sort of one. Not everybody can be a doctor, so that's a poor example. But I think the problem is with the society. So I fell into this with my problem. I don't know if this is a Gen Z thing. I'm going on to a lot of things. I'm going on to a lot of avenues here, but just bear with me. I was part of a generation where the parents and the families were like, just go do what you want. You can do what you want. You can make it as anything. Just go do what you want. But I kind of prefer the generation where it was whatever, we need to find something for you to do so you can make money from it and you can live off of it. Because I realized it too late in life. It was only when I was 22. And I know you can say 22 is young, and it is in some ways, but I'm not a big believer in the 30's new 20. I don't really believe in that, because it's not. But yeah, let's just say that I had parents who were they didn't give me any advice, any groundwork, any frame. So I had to work it out when I was 22. That when I got 22, I'm like, right, I want to move out. I want to have assets. I want to own things. I don't want to work for a corporation. So I had to work all these things out myself, and it was bloody hard. So I'm completely for pro seeing your thing to the end, but we're so indecisive now, and we're so. I mean, it's the same with dating, isn't it? It's like I'm a big believer in you meet somebody and you stick with them, and I'm not just talking about. I'm not talking about. So I believe everybody has like periods where they have one night stands and they go around. I'm not discouraging that. I think everybody has to sort of go through that. I know some people don't. I didn't really, and I'm not really too sad about that. Some people have 10 years where they're just sleeping around and stuff, and I guess, and I do believe that some people don't want relationships. I do believe that. There's part of me what isn't really a relationship guy, but I truly believe you have to meet somebody of quality. You have to want to date somebody of quality. You can't just go for the quick fix, and you can't just dishonor yourself. You have to respect yourself, and you have to put the work in. And if you get into an argument with that person, if you don't like something about that person, you have to not run away. You have to think, can this person change? And if they can't change, then maybe there are serious talks about coming up. But I feel most things in relationships can be solved, and that's the whole point. You keep and it gets stronger and stronger. It's the best friend analogy, isn't it? It's like I've recently started hanging out with a friend that I once knew, and it's like nothing has changed. We stopped talking because we just drifted apart, and there was nothing awkward there because we're still the same boys we were when we met in primary school. I truly believe that social media is a huge problem. And make no mistake, I use it. I use it to promote myself. I use it. I consume it. But I think it attracts the worst of people. I think it brings out people's toxicities. I think it brings out and highlights narcissism. I mean, we can point the finger on myself. If I was completely honest and convicted by the words I'm saying, I wouldn't be doing this video. But there's some part of me inside what's like, oh, I need to talk about this online. Now, the real reason I do this is because I want to. I feel like I feel this. I can hit a gap what isn't spoken about. I feel the way I speak is not really there. I can't see myself in the scene, so that's why I want to make these videos just for myself, and then hopefully, people can reflect off of them, and hopefully I can create that gap. What I believe's there. I believe what I'm talking about is there. I just want to open it up a little bit. I believe people are power hungry. People are crazy. They will. That's why I'm not necessarily too bad about my friends stabbing me in the back, because they just got corrupted. You know what I mean? They were given the sniff, if you like, of success, and they wanted it. They wanted to be the person who had the client. They wanted to be the person who was seen as I was seen. It's like, let's just say this video, let's just say this channel hit, I don't know, 5K subscribers, right? There'll be somebody else out there who's like, oh, I could do what he could do, and I need to then take it out. Because I've also done the same. It's like I've seen people making videos on the internet like, oh, I could do that. I should be doing that. I'm capable of doing that. So we're all in this competitive thing, but what we're not doing, we're not shaping we're not really saying anything. We're just copying everything. We're just marketing ourselves, and we're just branding ourselves. So, even stuff what's enjoyable, even YouTubers what are enjoyable. I watch a lot of YouTubers. And I like a lot of YouTubers. When you really break it down, I don't know if you have that moment where you just sort of like zone out of what a YouTuber is saying and doing, you just realize, oh, this person is entertaining. This person is just saying the thing to brand themselves and to carry on being funny. Like they're playing a role. They're either trying to be edgy, they're trying to be sentimental, because they built an audience off of being angry or being funny. And then if they try and be sentimental when they're trying to be funny, it just doesn't work anymore. There are a few YouTubers that can get away with that, and I do really admire them. Okay, I think I'm going to end this video here. I think it's going to be the last time I'm going to talk about social media for quite a while. I feel, saying that, knowing me, I'll probably talk about something very soon, but I feel like I've covered everything I want to cover with this topic. I've kind of beaten it over the head, if you like. I hope it's an interesting discussion. I hope it can also resonate in a way where you don't feel, because I don't wish this I guess it's a curse on anybody. This idea that we have to continue to be better than ourselves and to continue. I mean, what is when's like? Obviously, I believe in bettering yourself, but there's a point where it becomes a sickness, and we become obsessed. It's like you lose weight, but then it's like I could do with losing more weight. The weight I've lost isn't enough. You hit your goal, and it's like the goal's extended, and you can say that's good because it's like you've gone into a new league, but everything is competitive. Even like Duolingo, you can't just learn a language, you got to compete in leaderboards. You can't just go on social media and just like have a conversation. It's like we've got to have arguments, we've got to have toxic conversations. We've got to accept trolls. I don't really agree with this thing that, trolls and hateful comments are part of YouTube. Like, I get it that if you put yourself out there, you should accept whatever comes with it. But I don't think we should accept that we all sort of stand by. I mean, when I see like a troll comment on somebody's page, I don't write anything. But if you think about it, we just watch it. It's like, if somebody gets mugged in the street, everybody stands around and watch. Like, we should be helping. If you see like a young girl on YouTube who's made the first YouTube video and they're getting bullied, I know those like kids usually get blocked. So we'll say an 18-year-old who's making comments and she's getting like shamed and she's getting all these like comments what are clearly just sad people in a way to rile her up. But when you're younger, you don't have that mentality to deal with it. I mean, when you're older, one negative comment can like ruffle, because sometimes there's a bit of truth in everything, because we've all got little weaknesses and little defenses we talk about where we don't talk about, and then when somebody brings it up, we just shatter. So I do genuinely believe that we need to monitor and police and stop these comments and repel it. Cause I think we could end up in a stage where they just get worse and worse and worse. Because people will never ever say this sort of stuff in the street to your face. They might say it if they're drunk, but they will never say it. It's everybody hiding behind the keyboard, isn't it? Or it's people with limited intelligence where they believe that they'll watch a video and they think the video should be that way, and then they'll go and attack somebody else's video because it's not like that. Or they think their opinion's the only opinion. I'm a big believer in that there is such thing as like I do believe there is a hierarchy of films. Like, there is a film what is at the top. I do genuinely believe that. But I would never attack people who didn't have that film. Like, so my favourite film of all time is Stalker. I think it's a film what defines films. And I believe, and I'm calling this to the very end, that I believe it's the greatest film ever made. But at the same time, I understand there's many other films that could also take that title, and I'll accept most of them. And then if there was somebody who said like a ridiculous film is the best film ever, I'm talking best film of all time. I'd say if they said The Goonies or something like that, it's the best film of all time. I wouldn't attack them. I wouldn't attack their person. I mean, yes, I'll make probably a snap judgment of their film criticism. The same way if I was to, I don't really know much about cars, so say if I was to talk about cars, somebody can make a snap judgment straight away that I don't know what I'm talking about. So yeah, I'll make a snap judgment, but I would never make that person feel bad unless it was in a joking way. But that's the problem, isn't it? We all think we're right. We're all going off on our own crusades. That's all. there's nobody on social media gives a. I still haven't decided if I'm going to swear on this channel. Nobody on social media cares what anybody's like. They'll be a friend, but they don't care what anybody else is doing because they're solely focused on themselves. The same way I don't really care what anybody else is doing because I'm making my input. So please don't think I'm trying to claim that I'm any better than these people. I think I'm a lesser evil to these people, but I completely understand the need and the toxicities and the wants to create all this sort of stuff. And I just say it's kind of like a thing to future generations if we can just avoid it. We don't have to go down this path, do we? Sometimes you go way too down. You decide on a point in your life. I want to be a photographer, and you go down that path, and you realize it's fake. You realize it's not truthful. You realize you're just pretending to like people to get your brand up, and you're just meeting people to take photos with them. We don't really care about those people, but you just do it because you need more content. And because you're too far down, and because you've labelled yourself a photographer, it's extremely hard to turn back without coming up with some reason, like you've had a child or you decide to go for another career, even though the real reason is you're bailing on it. If you're obviously passionate about something, follow it to the very end, no matter what. Because you only live once. Like why not? Why make yourself miserable for your whole life? But that's also the part of the problem as well. I do believe in like not everybody can do their thing, because then there'll be nobody left to do any like real work, would they? Let's go into another conversation as well. All right, this is going a bit long now. I'm just gonna start talking for the sake of it. Okay, ciao.